Hi, this is moreLearn Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Yes, while Geico could help you rack up more moolah faster than you can say metamorphosis, they've also been the fastest growing auto insurer for more than 10 years. That's more like it. Furthermore, Geico has fast and friendly claim service. That might seem like an oxymoron, but it's not. All the more reason to say no other auto insurer has more than Geico. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey, party people, it's the New York Knicks podcast, episode 316. I am Jay, and you're Mark. We have to get this intro thing down. It's only been 300 episodes.
It gets better every time we do it. What is in your song? We taking those shorts just like winter?
Yeah, because you don't wear shorts in winter.
Oh, and so the Knicks take no shorts. What does it mean? The Knicks take no shorts?
Shortcuts.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought you were going with. I don't understand the shorts.
It's a very confusing song.
Yeah, I didn't really understand. I'm glad you picked something really confusing, and we took 300 episodes just to talk about it.
Also, most people don't seem to know what they're saying at the very end. He's saying, "Who is it?" Not the Wizards. He's going, "Who is it?" And then he's saying N-I-C-K-S. K-N-I-C-K-S.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
You picked the most confusing compilation possible.
I know, you need like a manual to decipher the opening song.
I have to say, I've been confused about it for a while, but I actually just enjoy it, so I just never really made a big point about it.
Right.
But I figured I'd just ask you about it, since our intro to the show sucks anyhow.
I think it sounds cool, but then when you think about the lyrics, you're like, this is really confusing. I don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things you think about, like every rap song that you like. If you think about it, the songs are kind of like you're like, oh, if only he was a big baller, but did he make $1 million off this song alone?
Right.
Back when I was poor. Yeah, that was like 20 years ago. You're like rolling in cash, Jay-Z. Stop singing about when you're poor. What's going on? So the last show we did, the Knicks were 4-0 for the show.
Mm-hmm.
This show, the Knicks are 0-3 since our last show. They're currently playing and beating Houston.
Well, we did a show on Tuesday, so aren't they just 0-2?
No, we did Brink on Tuesday. We did Knicks on Sunday.
Right. So yeah, they are 0-3. Great.
0-3, but they're beating Houston right now. But anyway, so I have this feeling. I feel that when the Knicks, and I know this is like overreaction, terrible Knicks fan. Every time they win a game, I'm like, everything's coming together. I love having Melo. I love this team. It's all going to be awesome. Every time they lose the game, I'm like, well, maybe we can trade Melo to Houston. Aren't you? Don't you kind of you're like, let's blow it up. Just forget it. It's over. It's 8-9. Season's over. Burn the place to the ground. Let's just try to trade everyone for draft picks.
Well, I think part of the problem is that when they lose, they look terrible.
Terrible.
It's not like they're losing for like a buzzer beater against a good team. Like they're losing by 20.
Well, only recently. The games they lost earlier in the year, they didn't look terrible. But the last 3 games, they lost to the Heat twice, I guess, and Orlando. It was a complete disaster.
They were not good games.
That would be quite an understatement.
These were not fun.
They were not fun to watch. They were not fun to. They were not fun unless you were fans of the other team, and that's pretty much it. If you're fans of the other team, it's fun to watch your team stomp on some other teams. So
yes,
that's fun.
But we'll go over these 3 games right now. The Knicks are playing Houston. I know we're recording during a game.
God forbid. Whatever. We can't figure it out.
First of all, the Knicks play 5 days a week. And second of all, we're very busy. So we're doing the best we can, folks.
Yeah, we are a show. Some people have sent us emails in the past or recently about things we can do to better get the word out about our podcast, to be more successful. If you can't tell, we've done 300 shows for free for this long because we have no idea how to be successful.
None.
I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being honest. We have no idea how to market. We don't have a clue. We don't know how to really do anything to make this successful. Again, not being sarcastic, we really have no idea. And it's part of people have really good ideas. Like someone wrote an email saying, well, why don't you write a bunch of articles for the website to get people, and that's a great idea. Got 2 kids, Jay's in grad school, can't figure out the time to do it.
Yeah, we used to update the site at least twice a day.
We used to do 2 episodes a week, and which we may go back to doing when Jay's done with grad school.
Yeah, we used to do 2 episodes and about 10 website posts a week.
Not complaining. Just like I feel I'm very happy that I have some time to do this because it's fun. And Jay, I assume, just does it because he hates himself, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
As a closet Celtics fan, you must really hate yourself for doing a Knicks podcast.
That being said, I do appreciate the pointers people are trying to give us because we are clueless, and so any advice we can get is.
So yeah, no. Here's instead of just giving us advice, when you have an idea, just do the idea for us. If you're like, hey, you guys can have a better intro song, just write the song for us. Hey, you guys should write some articles. Write the articles for us. Start the website do everything for us, please. I'm begging people.
This is why we asked
someone had a good. There's something called Rabble.com.
Yes.
We're not getting. There's something where you can broadcast. You can do live play-by-play during the game,
which sounds fun as hell.
Sounds fun as hell. And Jay's like, game start at 7:30. What do you think? My response was, yeah, I'm going to tell my wife, hey, could you put the kids together to bed 5 nights a week because I want to pretend to broadcast games. Oh, you want to end our marriage? Great. So, yeah, that's where we do games at night also because I have to wait for my kids to. The only way my wife will put up with this is if the kids are asleep.
Yeah, we don't want to start at 8:30.
But we do. Whatever.
But we do.
But we do. Anyway, so we really appreciate the tips. If you've noticed we don't act on your tips, it's not because we think we're above your tips. It's because we don't have the time or not competent enough to do your tips.
Right.
But
we've looked into every single one of the tips we've gotten.
Yeah, they're all good ideas. It just is it's kind of like you're watching someone, you're like, we think you guys could actually be like mildly you're like, oh, they're not so bad. We think they can do something. Why don't they do it? And I don't know. I don't have good answers.
Also, I just found out the MSG Go app only works with Optimum Online, which seems to really narrow your audience for.
Well, it's owned by James Dolan. So he figures if anyone, he's not going to lose. He's not going to lose any money because he feels like if you go to, I don't know why, he feels like it works with Time Warner, somehow they'll lose money on it. You know what? So I have Optimum Online. I was actually going to give Jay the password for it, but I'm not going to because that's probably not legal. But off the air, I might actually do it. But I realized the chat room was open. I was about to give it away to a bunch of both people in the chat room, which I don't want to actually do that. But oh yeah, so so what's weird about the app? Before we get into Nick games, so when MSG goes to a commercial, normally you see commercials, but instead on the app it just says commercial break in progress and doesn't show any commercials.
So it's just like silence.
Yeah. You would think they would just go, hey, Dodge, thanks for advertising your car here. We'll show your commercial on the app as well. But instead, Jim Dolan's like, hey, Dodge, you paid for TV commercial, not for iPhone commercial. Pay up.
I also really wanted to do Rabble because I checked out one of the NBA games.
Yeah.
And let's just say I think we could do a better job. It was exactly what I thought. It was one guy who thought he was Marv Albert and is not. Well,
first, do you think it's funny that Dolan won't put the commercials there on MSG, his own station, to the app?
I am not surprised that Dolan is being a jerk about something.
Secondly, I know what the thing about Rabble. I've never had the urge to go I don't mind Clyde. I don't mind the Knicks announcers. I don't watch the Knicks game going, wow, I wonder what 2 potheads would sound doing this instead. I don't. Do you have any urge to listen to random people do the show?
If they were funny, I would, because I don't like a lot of anytime Reggie Miller's doing a game. Yes, I would go to Rabble.
But is there any time you turn off Clyde?
Probably not. But I could see some people wanting something different. I don't know. Probably not the jokers that are on there right now. But if we got on there, I would definitely turn Clyde off for us.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, their games. that were played, and we should talk about the games.
We should. We should.
By the way, Knicks are up by 13 at halftime, which is good because those 3 losses might bring us near suicide. At least this brings us back a little bit.
Melo is not playing today because he has a man cold.
Why is Melo not playing today?
Because he has a man cold.
Why is Melo not playing today? What the hell's wrong with him?
He's got a runny nose. I don't know. It says undisclosed illness, so it's probably Ebola.
Wouldn't it be like you were like, you have a man cold, you have sniffles, and they're like, Carmelo Anthony has Ebola. In the saddest thing, he's going to leave behind is like it would just be some insanely sad story.
Kind of like what we did with Lamar Odom on the Facebook page.
Yeah, kind of like we made fun of Lamar Odom, and then we're like, oh shit, that was actually serious.
He's actually barely forming full sentences now, like 3 months later.
Yeah. Is he on the bench?
Carmelo? Probably not.
Yeah. Great. He said he's going to mentor Porzingis. But not
that.
on basketball, on how to build a brand.
Oh, God, that's even worse.
I made that part up, but it'd be kind of funny if he was like, you're like, oh, you're showing him all pointers, how to be a good. No. I taught him about venture capital. Thank you, Carmelo.
You got to pick out the right hat. You got to have some funky jackets. And then you have to make your brand so that nobody knows what the hell it is.
He does have a website, and we have a website, so we are as far along as Melo in making our brand.
I wonder if anybody even knows what his website is.
It's like This Is Melo.
Oh, you did. I was actually surprised you knew that.
Only because I had it up in front of me. Right
okay.
Whatever. Anyway, and so I just watched something real quick. So if Melo's out, who's scoring tonight? It looks like a balanced attack. Weird. No one's 3 for 30.
Yeah, we have 5 guys with 7 or above points.
Lance Thomas is 3 for 3 with 9 points. You know what, Lance? You got to be able to score 9 points on 30 shots. That's how you're supposed to do it. Come on. I don't know. I go back and forth on keeping Melo, and I really feel like at All-Star break, at whatever the trade deadline is, Knicks should seriously evaluate trading him. I don't know if you necessarily have to, but if you can get a decent enough return, it makes sense. We're just not going to win it right now. Right now, all you have Melo is to stay competitive, to sell tickets, but not really build for a title.
Right. Yeah, just because the rest of the team is pretty young. And as soon as they start peaking, Melo's going to be washed up. So
it's not like we just have
not right. It's not that we're hating on Melo. It's that the timing it just doesn't make sense.
It's that if you the true path to wing it all, and not that he's amazing yet, but he does show a lot of promise, is Porzingis. Build a team around him. We got Grant. Looks like could be okay. Build around the young guys, and yeah. So it was a trade I saw online. It was they were talking about just speaking because it's the Houston game. It was I think Bill Simmons proposed something to Houston. They figured Melo made sense to Houston because Houston is kind of obsessed with the big 3 idea. You agree with that, right?
Yeah, it seems like it's weird because Daryl Morey is all about analytics, but then he's also like, I want to have a big 3. So
maybe whatever. And so who would the Knicks get back from them? You figure you take 1 first-round pick. Who else do you get?
Well, they're not trading Dwight, and they're not trading Harden.
No, you're not going to get Harden or Dwight. It wouldn't make any sense because that would eliminate the whole big 3 idea.
I'm thinking and salaries that even remotely match. I would guess Trevor Ariza.
Yeah. The guys thrown out were Trevor Ariza, Corey Brewer, Ty
So all the ex-Knicks.
Yeah. Ty Lawson and Capella. Clint Capella, which I don't know as much about him.
I had him on my fantasy team for about 2 weeks. He seems like he's going to be good, and then he's not. And I don't know. Could work.
Or maybe Patrick Beverley was another idea. But like, that's a better mix of players than you get from the Bulls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I like that. I like that better for an idea for where to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like you really need to trade him. I don't know. This is. I think I'm going back and forth. Even if the Knicks go on like a 10-game winning streak, I'm going to say you need to trade Melo. But then, of course, if the Knicks go on a 1-game winning streak, I'm going to say no, it's a terrible idea because I overreact to every possible situation. So after the Knicks beat Houston tonight, I'll say we should extend everyone and just go for the title this year. Okay, so going to the games. The first game, Knicks played the Heat. What happened here?
Nothing good happened.
As far as I remember, so the Knicks, if you look at the box score, the Knicks were, I think the first quarter won 26-19 to Miami. But what I remember was at one point it was 19-19. And then I believe Sasha Vujicic, whatever, Sasha came in the game. And from that point on, the Knicks got crushed.
He went in for 3 minutes at the end of the first and had a -10.
Yeah, that pretty much the Knicks. It was 19-19. I blinked and it was like 29-19. It was unbelievable, and I don't blame Sasha. Played 3 minutes, so you can't really blame the game on him, and you can't blame him for having a coach dumb enough to play him. But it was unbelievable how just like the Knicks were 19-19, and from that point forward, it was a complete disaster.
Because the basketball gods get pissed when you play a player that shouldn't be in the NBA. They get insulted.
I mean, the Sasha signing just it's forgetting the Sasha signing. It's Phil screwed up with the guard situation. We need better guards. The league is going small, and the Knicks said, "Fuck the guards."
They do that every season, though. They have like 7 power forwards every single season.
There was a whole article I was reading on ESPN had a pretty interesting article actually that you didn't have to pay for, shockingly, all about small ball and how it's become the way of the NBA these days, and how Golden State, their best lineup is with Draymond Green playing center, which seems absurd, but they're playing extremely well Green at center. And one of the arguments was the reason why it was working so well is because since they allowed zone defense, it's so hard to what was it? That it becomes it's so hard to get the ball in to like a center, the post up players, that it doesn't. They basically made it sound like they made it because of the change in rule of the defense. Became really hard to. You read the article. Can you explain this better than I can? It was basically sounded like it made it really hard for a center to dominate.
Well, now that you can have zone defense, you can have 2 guys down low, and not much fear of. Well, basically, you could double team the center.
But they used to do that with Shaq, and Shaq would still dominate.
No, because you used to not be able to double team a guy who didn't have the ball.
Oh,
that's the new rules.
Yeah, that's the new chess. So that's the change. Yes. Yeah. And so that made it basically much harder for centers to dominate and easier to go with a guy who's 6'7" at center and play small ball and win.
Yeah.
And so the league is going this way. Golden State's playing unbelievable this way. And the Knicks, I remember having a lot of success with smaller lineups, I believe, in their 54-win season. Am I correct?
Yes, they did.
Yes. So what did the Knicks do this year? Go big, and because the East is big.
Because the East is big, man.
I don't know if it was like a. They just, you would think they'd have some. I don't know. The team is designed so you play more of a traditional offense as far as centers and power forwards and so forth. But we're lopsided with power forwards. We just didn't get a lot of good. I don't know why Phil was so shitty with his guard signings.
It doesn't really make sense. But it's basically just Sasha.
Yeah, I mean, you needed better guards. And like Calderon's not a great point guard. Grant, we hope will be better, and hopefully we'll get better. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Awesome.
Had to go and my son was screaming because he has 2 blankets on him. He has an Elmo blanket and he has a Thomas the Train blanket. And the Elmo blanket was on top of him. The Thomas the Train blanket was on the top. And you can't have that order. You have to switch the order, and he was losing it.
Totally justified meltdown.
Totally makes sense. Why would you not have Elmo on top and Thomas on the bottom? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, so switched it. Now he's asleep.
Okay.
Sleep or whatever. He'll scream in a minute. Anyway, just like the Thomas blanket and the Elmo blanket, the guard situation in the Knicks don't make sense. But we got Porzingis, and Porzingis looks really good. Maybe he will change the game in a different direction.
So let's go through these games real quick.
Okay. What would be the small lineup you'd go with the Knicks? If you were going to go small ball, what would you do?
See, the problem is to have a small ball lineup, you also have to have smaller guys that are good at defense and rebounding.
Yeah, that's what works so well. I mean, Golden State, obviously, they've done it pretty well. And shooting. Our offense sucks these days.
Yeah, I guess small ball would be either Calderon or Grant, and then Galloway, and then a Flalo, Mello, and either Porzingis or Serafin.
Well, I was saying Porzingis or Lopez. Why would Serafin be instead of Porzingis? I mean, instead of Lopez.
Because Lopez is very slow, and that doesn't work with small ball.
That's true. I would go with if we're gonna go with the ultimate lineup, I would go with Porzingis. I go Porzingis at center, Melo at power forward. I like a Flalo, the kind of the small forward / shooting guard, and Galloway, and I guess Calderon doesn't push the ball though either. If you want to go a small ball lineup, you want the whole point of it is have a fast lineup that pushes the ball, and Calderon does not do that.
Right. Yeah, that's why I would probably put Grant in there.
Yeah, there was some stat about how fast break points and how the Knicks went from like starting the year having tons of them to basically being almost like they don't do them anymore.
Yeah.
And part of the problem is that Calderon's shooting really well lately, but he doesn't push the ball at all. And I would give Grant more playing time. Let him see if he can push the ball because this is not working more right now. Anyway, so Heat game, first game they got blown out. The Heat played very good defense.
They do. They have good defense. They are. I guess they went back to a more traditional lineup because they had when LeBron was there, they had Bosh at the center, but now they got Whiteside.
Whiteside looks pretty good, so that makes sense.
Yeah, he's gonna get paid.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when a guy's drafted number 1 overall, right? He wasn't just like a free agent that anyone could have gotten. Anyway, Winslow looks pretty good. The reason I wanted Knicks to draft Winslow was because he was a hell of a defender, and he looks like a hell of a defender.
He does. He does look good on defense.
Totally. I still prefer Porzingis, obviously, but Winslow looks like he should have been drafted a lot higher than number 10 or 11 overall.
So, as far as the Rookie of the Year race, did you notice that Okafor got in trouble for driving 108 miles an hour, and then this weekend he knocked somebody out in the streets in Boston?
Yeah, he's winning the. They said he's the favorite for Rookie of the Year now. What is he? Does the NBA just not suspend anyone for anything?
I could not believe he didn't get suspended for knocking somebody out in the streets.
The NFL, who has screwed up some things with this, they do general like suspend people they do suspend people for like beating people up in public, but the NBA is like, hopefully no one will know about this national story. What was this? I don't understand how he's not suspended right now.
It doesn't make sense because people have done less and gotten suspended. I don't know. I guess it's up to. Is it up to the team if it's off the court? I don't know. No, because didn't Lawson get suspended?
Do we know? No, the NBA suspends people, but do we know? Like, is he saying it was self-defense or anything?
Didn't look it from the video.
Maybe right before the video started, the guy said, "Here's $1 million. Punch me in the face."
It's also he's got to get a thicker skin. From the video, it looks like somebody said Sixers suck, and then he goes, "I have money." Great. That's not really the point.
The Sixers do suck, but it's not his fault the Sixers suck.
No, it's not. He's like the only NBA talent player on the whole team.
I mean, if I am Okafor, here's my plan. I see the Sixers suck. I see we're going to suck for a long time. It's going to be miserable. What I do is I try to score a lot on the court. At the same time, I try to be a terrible teammate off the court. Punch guys recklessly, do whatever I can for the Sixers to say, this is not the kind of guy we want to have in our team. We'll trade you to the Spurs, and after that, you become a model citizen. Wouldn't you just try to do anything to get off this team?
Yeah, because you don't even know. It seems like anytime anybody plays good on that team, they just trade him anyway.
Yeah. I
wouldn't be surprised if he won Rookie of the Year, they trade him just like they did with Carter Williams.
Yeah, that's what you do. You win Rookie of the Year and you get traded. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So they lost to the Heat. The Heat's defense is very good. That's part of the reason they lost. I mean, between they got Dang, they got Winslow. Wade's a pretty good defender, actually. It happens. Then they play Orlando, and they crushed Orlando, right?
If by getting crushed, you mean they got crushed, yeah.
The guy who I wish was on the Knicks, I keep pretending he's on the Knicks, Vucevic, played well against the Knicks.
There's a shocker.
There's a shocker. Orlando. How do I pretend this is not a terrible loss?
But you finally took Hazanjo off your team, right? Your fantasy team.
Yeah. So he's not working out. He was drafted pretty highly, and against the Knicks he played a minute.
Yeah.
Literally a minute. They have a lot of faith in this guy. He went what did he go? 5th overall?
No.
Yeah, 6th overall.
No, I think he was in the teens.
No.
Stats guy. When did Hazanjo get drafted?
Stats guy, where the hell are you? He was drafted 5th by Orlando.
Are you serious? No.
You know what? Big joke on you, Jay. Not big a joke on Orlando because they didn't actually take him 5th, right? I'm just playing a joke on you, not the Orlando fans. They took him 5th.
Are you serious?
Stop saying, "Are you serious?" Surely you can't be serious. Stop calling me Shirley. Yeah, you don't remember? First of all, they thought he was going to be amazing. And maybe he will be good. I don't know. But doesn't look so good so far.
I don't know why there's so much defense of the Sixers in our chat room right now, but it's got to stop.
What are they saying about him? About them? By the way, so what you were thinking about last year, the Knicks losing dumb game, some big streak, you're thinking of the year that the Sixers won 9 games. 2 of the games were against the Knicks.
Yep.
And Knicks, what is the Sixers, 0-17 right now?
They just lost today, so I think they're 0-18.
We play them on Tuesday, I think.
I know Clyde was rooting for them to win today, so they get that win off their chest before they play us.
God.
I know.
If the Knicks lose to them, I will be so mad.
I know. It's not going to be a happy podcast next week if we lose to the Sixers.
Oh, God. If they lose, then just blow the team up. Murder everyone not named Porzingis. Not actually murder. Don't actually listen to me about murdering. But they got to be. That'll be just embarrassing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I put Zanja on my fantasy team because I know he went 5th, and I thought maybe he'd be a surprising talent. They were saying how he's going to be really good. He's apparently a really flashy player who likes to talk a lot of trash, which works out when you play 1 minute a game.
Yeah.
Anyway, Orlando game. Is there any defense? The Knicks shot the problem with this Knicks team is they can't shoot. I mean, that's what it is. They have bad shooting, and when sometimes they hit their shots and they're tonight they're winning because they're shooting 59%, but they weren't doing too well against. I think part of the problem is that Sasha played against Orlando, so that's probably the entire explanation why they lost. Vujacic versus Vucevic in the battle of 2 guys I can't pronounce their names.
See, if we ever did live broadcast, we could never do an Orlando Knicks game. We have a comment in the chat that said it's been over 200 episodes, and I wonder when Mark will allow Jay to talk.
That's a pretty good one. I don't know. Okay, Jay, you take over.
Okay, I was commenting before about the defense of Embiid, which was still the stupidest. Not the stupidest, because they've done a lot of stupid moves lately, but that wasn't a smart move at the time either.
I said before the draft, you'd have to be insane to take this guy. He's a big guy with foot problems that never works out.
Right.
And I want Philadelphia to just, on one of their games in a national telecast, just say, Mark, you were right for the New York Knicks podcast. We are not running our organization very well. We should put you in charge. And then if Philadelphia does the right thing and makes me their GM, I may have to switch allegiances if I actually work for the Sixers, running their organization.
So the next game was the second Miami game. I'm going to go out on a limb and say if the starting lineup combines for 32 points, that we're not going to win a lot of games.
Is that all?
Yes.
This game was a disaster. Well, this game also was close early on, and then just the Knicks completely fell apart.
Yeah, Yeah,
They stayed close for the first half. It was really close, and then they just completely fell apart.
I know. I think I got home. Yeah, I had class that night. No, what happened? I don't know. I turned it on, and it was a good game, and then they were down by 10, like 5 minutes into me turning it on.
Yeah. Whatever. Porzingis has been. He's been okay. Been a little bit back down to earth.
Yeah, I mean, he's still decent. I mean, he's gonna fluctuate a lot. That's just the way it is. He's already leagues ahead of where we thought he'd be at this time.
Like right now, the game against Houston, midway through the game or in the third quarter, he's got 8 rebounds, 10 points. He's got 2 block shots. He's got that's pretty much solid stats. We're all very happy to see that from him.
I mean, if you told me less than 20 games in the season he'd be out playing Dwight Howard, I would not have believed you.
If you told me less than 20 games in the season we'd still let Sasha play, I wouldn't have believed you either.
That is true. Although he's on his way to his second straight DNP.
So the big question, the Knicks been a disaster this week. Certain things have been exposed. We don't push the ball. We don't try fast breaks at all. That kind of kills us. What do you do to fix our bench? Isn't that great? What do you do to fix the team?
There's no quick fix for this season.
I want a quick fix right now.
I would say you need more guards. You have such a
But we're not going to change. Like the roster's not going to change substantially.
No, it would have to be a small move, but I don't know. Maybe even just sign Travis Trice, see if he works out.
I was waiting for you to say that. He's played all of 4 D-League games.
Yeah, he got like 17-7 one of those games.
You don't even know how he's done the last 3 of the 4 games. You just know one game how he's done. You have no idea. And maybe he'll turn out to be amazing because your ability to pick these things. Ooh, I've heard of this guy that plays in Latvia. He doesn't play in Latvia, Zach, Jay. Oh, whatever. He's going to draft him number 1 overall and going to be our future. What are you talking about, Jay? Maybe Travis Trice is going to be amazing also.
Mm-hmm.
Along the same lines. Do you want to see his stats?
Sure.
Okay, hopefully. Man, ESPN. Okay, just talk about something else.
Don't go to ESPN because they only show preseason. And
yes, I didn't realize that. Where am I going to find the stats for this?
I have no idea. Where the hell did you find D-League stats?
The D-League website really sucks, by the way.
Yeah.
They should do more to make the D-League not awful.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so his no, they only have summer league here again. What?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm going to assume that he's averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 37 assists.
Anyway, so the Knicks, we got to figure out a way to improve this team. I think going a little more small ball would make some sense. I think give Grant more extended run time. Even if Calderon's out there with him, we do the 2-point guard lineup. What do you think of that?
Calderon with a 2-point guard lineup? Like
Calderon with Grant out there, yeah.
I feel like Galloway's better than both of them at this point.
I don't know. Mix and match more. The things they need from a guy like Grant is one thing he can do is push the ball, which Calderon seems like has an inability to do. And I feel like Calderon just kind of part of the reason they shoot so poorly is every time they go for a shot, 10 seconds are off the clock, and the other team basically has their defense set up.
Yeah.
So I feel like that doesn't really help. So you need guys to push the ball so to make sure the defense isn't like just ready for you every time.
The problem is like we don't have a good shoot. Like Calderon's a really good shooter.
I'm not saying don't play him. I'm just saying don't play him. I'm saying I don't know really what to do. He's a good shooter. That's why if you put him and Grant out there, Grant can push the ball and pass it to Calderon, and maybe like he'll score. But like they need a little bit of D'Antoni in them. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm watching this team wishing that they would do a little more D'Antoni style because that might actually help the offense.
Yeah. I mean, Grant looks way better when you play it up speed tempo.
Yeah. I think this whole team might be better. The offense looks terrible in a slow, not terrible, but it's not look that great when it's slow tempo. I think this team would be basically if they can find a way to just fire Derrick Fisher and hire D'Antoni. I'm game, and don't let D'Antoni coach defense. Can you make D'Antoni our offensive coach?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get why teams don't have an offense-defense coach.
I don't know. Do they?
Well, they have assistant coaches that specialize.
On the 24th, Trice leads the Westchester Knicks with 19 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, as the Westchester Knicks improved to 5-0.
There you go, undefeated with Trice.
Fredette, by the way, is back in Westchester.
I literally have been looking for a D-League stats the entire time, and it's just not happening.
Yeah, it's the worst freaking. Anyway, Trice is playing well. I would be totally fine with Jay. Knows everything. He's the Oracle, so bring him up. The Knicks, just listen to Jay. He knows what he's talking about. Anything else about how to fix this team? The defense, I don't think has been that bad.
No, the defense is pretty decent, although they are fouling guys too much.
Right. Are they fouling guys too much, or are the refs who have bet against them calling fouls too much?
No, I'm not going to call it a conspiracy. Although I did not appreciate the play where Wade got fouled and he literally stopped playing to stare at the ref until they called a foul.
I saw that and I was like, you can't just be like, it's like he's staring at him going, what did we talk about before the game?
Yeah.
Oh, right, Dwayne. Sorry. I
found it. I found it.
Hang on, before you did that, so you never want to say there's these conspiracies going on, and this is an example from baseball, not football, but you never want to say these conspiracies are going on, but then recently, Lenny Dykstra, a baseball player, used to be a Met, had an amazing year with the Phillies after he left the Mets, and has now recently, he's been out of baseball for a long, long time. He admitted one of the things he did was he hired private detectives to basically find dirt on the major league umpires. And then you blackmail the umpires into giving him better pitch counts. And he said that year, if you notice, I led the league in walks because I was blackmailing the umpires.
Oh, wow.
That's unbelievable. And the only reason it's not a bigger story because it happened like 20 years ago. But you wonder if not that Dwayne Wade is doing that or anything. I wonder what kind of random stuff happens like that in the NBA. I don't know. The Knicks get bad calls and I get annoyed.
Yeah, I love Lampstead. I liked when Whiteside had Lopez in a headlock and there was no call.
Okay.
So Trice, his 5 games, 19, 21, 15, 8, and 19 for points.
Well, he got 8 points. Maybe the Westerners just dump him that game. From that game. How was his assists since he's the point guard?
7, 7, 3, 2, 4.
That is better than anything we have going on.
Yeah, he would lead the team in assists if he was doing that on the Knicks.
Anything to add about these 3 games besides the fact they were disasters?
No, we can move on from that.
Is there ever a game that Carmelo plays well and we lose? I know that it has happened.
It's rare.
Is there ever a game that Carmelo plays well? Not on defense. I know lately his defense has looked good according to those stats I mentioned last show, but it seems like I don't know. His shooting has just been like every night he's 6 for like 18, 7 for 20. Like he doesn't have that many positive nights these days.
No.
He's shooting 41% for the year, which is painful.
Yes, and that includes like 1 or 2 games where he shot like really good.
So I guess my way to fix the team, I would say stop doing an 11-man rotation or 12-man rotation. Pick 5 guys from the bench each night. Give those 5 guys extended playing time. Let them even if we don't win the games, maybe they'll. I feel like a guy like Derrick Williams needs more playing time to play well. I think a lot of guys might need more playing time to play well.
Yeah, I agree. It just doesn't seem to make sense to. You can't get in a groove playing like 6 minutes.
Yeah, I mean 5 minutes. Guys try to force things really fast because they want to stay on the court, and it just doesn't work out. I would just say, you know what? We're gonna just like we do with Carmelo. We're gonna give you time to screw up because we hope we'll get positive things out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else do you want to talk about, Jay? Before we go to questions?
Let's just go to emails.
Okay.
So Frankie writes, I heard an ESPN guy from Sports Nation call KP6 the Unicorn because he's legendary and we've never seen anything like him before. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like it's a unique nickname, but it's not intimidating.
Go, Unicorn, go!
Yeah. I don't
Pass the ball to my little princess and
Care Bears.
the Care Bears. And yeah, it doesn't sound that intimidating.
I think the search still goes on.
I understand it's the idea being the unicorn is the like something that you just can't find.
Yeah.
But yeah. How about the uni?
Maybe we should call the unicorn Grant's 3-point shot.
Yes. How about the unicorn could be a Knicks guard that's good?
A Knicks shooting guard that can shoot.
That can shoot. A Knicks shooting guard that can shoot would be the ultimate unicorn. I think we might have used the word unicorn wrong. Next email.
That is it for emails this time. We got that.
So when you said let's go to emails, you meant let's go to email. But I'm saying you used the plural when you should have used the singular.
I know.
What were you gonna say?
No, we got an email that was talking about the questions on the show. He likes our breakdowns of the games better than the questions, and he said we should just have a time limit on the Facebook questions.
Jay and I discussed this before the show. The one change we're going to make is we're not going to look at the questions ahead of time or do any work for the show because we don't know what we're doing in general. And that'd be a good idea, though, to do that stuff ahead of the show. What we are going to do is try to, if topics have been covered already, read the questions, kind of move on, not keep recovering topics.
Somebody just sent a link how the refs missed 2 foul calls on LeBron James late versus the Nets where they almost lost to the Nets. Surprise, surprise. Thank you.
Yeah, that is kind of shocking, actually.
It's yeah, I guess good point, Olive Lamp. The NBA did admit to letting LeBron get away with some calls. So
Oh wait, are they saying that he fouled someone else or that he was fouled?
he fouled.
Oh, I was like, oh wow, like I was like, even LeBron gets screwed sometimes, but
No, these are like really, really bad blatant fouls too. Like I don't know how they could not call that. I'm gonna send you the link on.
I'll have to learn how to open a link.
Yeah, it's like it's really bad.
Okay.
But it's nothing we're not used to.
Yeah. Okay, let's see this one.
So I guess we're gonna go to Twitter questions as Mark watches that.
Yes.
There's
By the way, the Nets. For all Nets fans out there, do you still like the Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett trade? Was it worth it getting to the second round of the playoffs? And are you guys going to have a parade in Brooklyn to commemorate that getting to the second round of the playoffs?
Okay. We have Twitter.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. nyknickspodcast@gmail.com is email. nyknickspodcast.
I love how
Twitter.
LeBron, the best part is that he just pretends that didn't happen.
I know.
He's just like, what are you talking about? I'm going to watch this one again. This is kind of ridiculous. Because the rest are just staring at. You see him afterwards holding, and the best part is LeBron's almost calling for a foul himself. He's like, no, he fouled me when I held him.
Yeah.
He should have fought back when I tried to hold him. By the way, Knicks are about to lose to Houston. I know the game. They're only up by 2, but the trend is not going well. It's trending towards like Houston coming back and
Trending toward disappointment.
Yes, Aflalo's got 21 points tonight. On an efficient 8 for 12.
It's nice having a shooting guard that can sometimes shoot.
Yes.
Would this make Aflalo our best shooting guard in years?
Yeah, actually, I mean, we're talking about a shooting guard, like making fun of, like he's our best shooting guard since. I'm not gonna say Allen Houston, am I? We just have that jack shit. I mean, like J.R. Smith was our best shooting guard for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, we just had a series of shooting guards that couldn't shoot for 10 years.
Jeff writes, what the F is going on with Fisher's rotations, favoritism, and letting some youth rot away? Woody, is that you?
I guess I have to say, you have to decide what's the point of the season. Is the point to just win every possible game you can, or is the point to develop?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I just don't see, either way, I don't see the point of playing Cock 6 minutes and Seraphin 7 minutes. Like, one of them should get 13 minutes.
Which guy?
Cock. Kylo Quinn.
Oh, I was like, did he say cock? Did he mean to say cock? Was he just having a gay fantasy on the show?
KOQ.
Okay. I'm surprised that doesn't get used. I guess if you use Rabble, you'll hear him referred to in the cock name that we don't get with Clyde.
Yeah, I don't think Clyde's going to be using that one.
Is there one where can you choose oh, I wonder what if we had two racist people calling the game instead of oh, what if we had two British people using their accents to call the game? That would be amazing. So
we do Rabble and we just do the entire game being J.R. Smith and
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose.
That would be enjoyable. If Greg, you want that, let us know. Someone did request the Beast Report.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to do the Beast Report, the game after he gets 20 points.
What was his yeah, he actually looked kind of like a beast recently.
I know. It's not as fun.
Is Steven in the room?
He left after spending the last 25 minutes trying to defend the 76ers.
What's the defense of them?
He's saying that Embiid was a once-in-a-lifetime talent and you have to draft him because it was the most intelligent move to do. And me and I Lamp are pointing out that he played literally 0 games in the NBA and may never, ever play. And he still defended the move.
The once-in-a-lifetime talent, that's great. I can make up a player that's not going to play in the NBA also. But
do you know who scored as many points as Embiid in the NBA? Us.
You did.
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah, both of us. So, Steven, make the case the Sixers should draft us. We're once-in-a-lifetime talents as well.
Mm-hmm. We'd at least make the bench laugh, lift up morale.
You know, Embiid, just to let you know out there, in case you listen to the podcast, I play really well in my mind also.
I'm even better in my mind than Mark, so you should probably draft me instead.
God damn it, I try to beat Jay in my mind, but I can't.
Jeff writes, which of these contracts do you think looks the prettiest at the trade deadline? Maybe Rolo if Porzingis develops into a 5.
I don't know. Do you think people I think what do you think of the Rolo contract? If you just are we getting $12.5 million worth from him? I don't think so.
Not right now.
Do you think people would trade for him? Could we get much for him? First of all, can you trade a guy you just signed? Isn't there a certain period you have to wait?
No, I think you could trade a guy you signed. I think you have to wait if you traded for him.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I think you have to wait. I forget how long, 6 or 9 months.
It's that guy.
I know. We forgot to ask Will. Sorry, Will.
I want to talk about my Washington game. I played really well.
Is that you, DeMar?
Where's my music?
I wasn't expecting you. I didn't even have your song
Where's my music? Where's my music?
Get ready for
Tale as old as time.
the Beast Report.
I was just going to let everybody know I was 1 for 8. I had 4 points in the game, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and I had a steal. I am a beast. Ooh.
That's very impressive, Tamari.
Yeah. But I also won 8 for 13 against Phoenix and had 20.7 rebounds and 3 assists. I filled up the box score because I am a beast. Sometimes I play well, and other times not so well.
That's almost a beastly stat line. I still wouldn't call it beastly, but it's it's getting there.
Yeah, I'm getting you. And yeah. Do you know what I did though when I had just want to point out when I had 4 points against Washington? Do you know what I did?
What'd you do?
I scored 4 more points than Embiid will have his entire career.
That is true. That is true.
So, Beast 1 and Embiid 0. I'm out of here.
All right, to Mark Harrow, everybody.
Yeah.
Twitter questions. Oh,
Sure.
We didn't do the best contract at the trade deadline.
By the way, what's going on? You want to give some updates on your, oh yeah, never mind. I was going to ask this after. Best contracts at the trade deadline, Carmelo?
We don't have a lot of very pretty contracts for trade bait.
Do you think someone would trade for Calderon? As we'll ask that every day here and out.
Maybe they would have to. I think somebody would have to have like a season-ending injury and be really short in the guard rotation.
Aflalo. Aflalo could be the best contract we have.
Is it for next year too?
Aflalo? Don't we have a 3-year deal?
Yeah, but he's like, why would you? That's actually one of our only good contracts.
I mean, you just asked who would be a good contract.
Yeah,
to trade.
yeah, but like that wouldn't make any sense because he's like our best shooting guard.
I know, but the Knicks they'll package him and Porzingis and try to get Rasheed Wallace back. Yeah, no, obviously it doesn't make sense. But does it make a lot of sense to trade Lopez either?
No, it definitely doesn't. Well, he said if Porzingis transitions into a 5.
I feel like you might want to balance out having Lopez and Porzingis. Like I would play Porzingis as the 5, but I also want to balance having Lopez out there for defense at times.
Yeah,
I wanted the mix of small and big ball.
Yeah, any trade we make is going to be very small. It's going to be like a.
Do they call it big ball? I know it's called small ball. Did they ever say when you have the big guys, is it called big ball?
I don't think so.
Maybe they call it going big, but I like when they call it going big ball. The Knicks have decided to go big ball this year. They're exposing their balls to the other team. I don't think Seraphin or Quinn also are going to get good enough that you're going to really want to rely on having them as your main backups.
Right. Knicks Jets for life writes, discuss Fisher's great use of the rotation and how he continues to use Vujabrick while Cleanthony rots on the bench.
Why does he hate Cleanthony so much?
I don't know.
People are like, oh, he came off he didn't have a good rookie year. And the guy is just like, he's young. He's not a very good player. And I'm like, that's great. I don't know that. I haven't seen him play in an actual game this year.
What do you think? We have a trade proposed. Noah for early. Noah really looks like crap now.
How bad is he playing this year?
He's not even starting anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Who are the Bulls starting? Is it
Gasol. They're starting Gasol and what's his face? Miratek.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because Gasol is not really a center.
He played some center in LA.
No, it's true, but that's more of a. Yeah, would I do that trade? Obviously, the salaries don't work out, but yeah, of course I would do that. You wouldn't? Would you take a chance on Noah?
I'd have to see how long his contract is because he really looks borderline washed up.
The only thing about that is what I really would like is guards. I don't think we necessarily need more bigs, and I think our bigs would look better if we had better guards.
Yeah, that's true. Last thing we need is more bigs.
What we kind of need is like athletic guys who can play defense and might be able to score, which maybe Cleanthony early can't do, or maybe he can.
Yeah, we don't know because he never plays.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think he looked terrible during preseason. I thought he looked decent during preseason and decent during the summer league. So I don't understand the pure hate for him. And I have to say, there must be pure hate because playing Sasha over some guy is like saying you hate him.
This season, Noah is averaging 2.7 points a game.
Holy shit.
And 3 out of his last 4 games, he scored 0 points.
That is truly abysmal.
Yes.
I didn't realize he was playing that. I know he's been injured, but like.
He's averaging 8 rebounds a game, which is good for only playing 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks like he's done. He's shooting 32% from the field.
You know, Sasha is shooting 27% from the field, and the Knicks keep letting him back on the court. I mean, he looks like a guy that hasn't been in the league for years. Phil, I would take a chance on Noah. How old is Noah? He can't be more than 30.
I think his contract is expiring.
Yeah, I would take a chance on him. Let me see how old is he. He is he's 30 exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how like a guy's like he went from being like he was playing great like 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, he was like in the conversation for All-Star teams. Did he even make the All-Star team?
And like for Defensive Player of the Year, he was.
Yeah.
And talk about falling the hell
Actually,
off.
2 years ago, he was All-NBA first team.
Wow.
And All-Defense first team. And Defensive Player of the Year. That's right.
Defensive Player of the Year.
It's 2 years ago.
Now he's only. I mean, in fairness, if they give up on him, he's played 13 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to give up on him this fast, it seems kind of absurd.
I guess he didn't look great last year either.
Yeah, but like 2 years ago, he was Defensive Player of the Year and all first NBA team.
Yeah, I'm kind of disturbed with the fact that he can't shoot anymore.
Yeah, he's never been a great shooter though.
Yeah, but he's shooting 32% now, and he's shooting 33% from the free throw line.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe he's been partying with Lamar Odom. Maybe he's with a Kardashian now.
Fourth in voting for MVP 2 years ago.
Wow, that is probably the worst fall off. That beats the Odom fall off, or the Richard Jefferson fall off.
Yeah. Does it beat the Embiid once in a generation talent fall off?
Well, in fairness, these guys actually had professional NBA careers.
Charlie Becker writes, between Porzingis, Lopez, Serafin, O'Quinn, Amundsen, and Melo at the 4, why do we need so many big instead of Clay Anthony?
Don't know. Why would you, if you had all those guys, why would you use your mid-level on Serafin?
The funny thing is he's literally playing all those guys too.
Yeah. By the way, Knicks are up by like 10 points now. They might actually pull off the game against Houston. I overreact to everything that happens in the game.
Knicks beating Houston without Melo.
Which proves you don't need Melo. That is absolute proof.
Gotta go. Trade him.
Gotta go. But it just it's not like if we were to try, if the goal was to win as many games this year and make the playoffs, that was the only goal, then you say keep Melo because it makes perfect sense. But that's not the goal.
Yeah.
I feel like I know I also overreact about Fisher. I just feel like Fisher's not a good coach.
Oh, of course he's not.
Okay. I feel like I made some remark about him earlier in the week on Facebook, and people were like, "Come on, you can't bash him after every game." And I'm like, I just don't think it never seems like Fisher knows what he's doing. The offense looks terrible at times. I feel like the offense gets very stagnant, and Fisher could make suggestions to guys like running plays, setting picks, moving the ball. He could. I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know. It seemed like Kidd picked up the whole coaching thing way quicker.
Yeah, you know what? Steve Kerr is not doing anything. Maybe when he's done with his back injury, we could have him.
Alex Paris writes, hope you got some great Black Friday deals. NBA stores 40% off a New York Tim Hardaway Jr. t-shirt. Bargain.
That's a pretty good deal.
How is that not 99% off?
It's retro. It'll be amazing for when Tim Hardaway wins the when he plays in another game. I don't know.
Keith Easter says we need to interview. We need an interview from Woody soon. Well, we do have a Clippers game coming up, so we'll have to get Woody on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Gucci Jean writes, Kobe's going to retire, and a bunch of crying emojis. He announced today that he is retiring after this season.
I thought he announced with his playing, and even mentioning it would just be like just being way too obvious.
And then people still didn't get it, so he's like, if you couldn't tell, I'm done.
Yes. You want to dial? Do we have phone numbers again? Can we dial stuff?
Yeah, we could.
Okay. Just asking. I don't have anything in mind actually to dial.
Oh, okay. Then go to Facebook. 'Cause we
Okay,
are-
I will. I was going to try to.
Surprise! We're running long.
Okay, just here's the number to dial. Dial 212 868 6588.
It's that. That's good. Their number shows up in the live room.
Thank you for calling. It's Matthew.
Hi. What do you think of Carmelo's brand?
What?
What do you think of Carmelo Anthony's brand?
What's that?
His
This
brand.
This is a Chinese restaurant.
Totally get that. Do you think Porzingis is the key to leading the Knicks to the finals? That didn't last very long.
Word on the street, folks.
Man the street, whatever you want to call it. Okay.
Well, sometimes it's a woman, so man on the street doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we should call it human on the street. Greg writes, sarcastic question of the day. Will Phil Jackson coach the Knicks?
All right, let's move on.
Did you not hear that question? Or
Yeah, I'm not entertaining Phil coaching questions.
Oh, okay. You know what? Actually, I just did. I could do it instead of doing. They arrange it by top comment. This one I'm going to do instead of top comment. I'm going to actually do this in chronological order.
Okay.
I changed the order, so now actually these should make sense. Adam writes, "What would it take for Jay to trade Porzingis for? Let's pretend you can pick any 3 players in the league. Would you still refuse to do it?"
Any of the top. Wait.
Well, here let me get someone. Maybe this is in the Facebook questions later, but Kawhi Leonard for Porzingis. Do you do it?
Kawhi Leonard for Porzingis. That's so tough.
Here's another one that you kind of have to say yes to. Towns for Porzingis.
I think you got to do that one.
Kind of have to do that one. Porzingis. So would you do Kawhi? Yes, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Porzingis for Blake Griffin.
No.
Porzingis for Chris Paul.
No, definitely not.
Okay. Porzingis for Dwayne Wade, your favorite player.
You don't even have to ask that one.
I'm just thinking, I obviously going to say yeah. You're going to say yes to LeBron, I assume.
No.
You're not going to say yes to LeBron.
No.
You would not trade Porzingis for LeBron James.
Nope. LeBron's turning 31 soon. You don't trade a 20-year-old for a 31-year-old.
What brand of crack do you smoke?
We're saying that we should.
You wouldn't trade Porzingis for LeBron James. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. 18 games in this guy's career that you wouldn't trade him for LeBron James.
So it doesn't make sense to have a 30-year-old Melo, but it makes sense to have a 30-year-old LeBron.
Yeah. You know what? Melo's not the best player in the NBA. He's not. You know what LeBron James actually is? A once in a generation talent. He is actually what Steven pretends Embiid is. How could you not do it? I would trade him for a 32-year-old Michael Jordan also. You told me LeBron said, I'm announcing my retirement in 2 years. I would still do the damn trade. Because then you have 2 years where you have a shot at the actual title, those 2 years.
Oh, that's a good point, I Love Lamp. You get the refs with LeBron. All right. That swung my opinion. That is true. Maybe Melo will start getting some foul calls, too.
Yeah, that would actually be interesting if Melo got foul calls, too.
All of a sudden, Melo takes 20 free throws a game.
He's like, it's weird. I thought the NBA rules allowed people to punch you when you went for a layup, and it turns out you're not allowed to do that. Yeah. I didn't know that. Thank you, LeBron. So, what if LeBron said, I'm going to play for 10 more years?
Well, you could say whatever you want.
That's true. What about, would you trade him for Durant?
Only if he went the rest of the season.
No. Right now. Forget. No. Would you trade him for Anthony Davis?
No.
So you know when people rank like they're like the top, like the most untradeable players in the league?
Yeah.
Apparently, Porzingis is top 5 most untradeable players in the league for you.
There you go.
Top 5. Basically, you've said Towns, Kawhi Leonard,
Yep.
and nothing else. Is there anything else you would trade him for?
I
Besides like more crack.
see your LeBron argument.
Oh, really? I kind of see the argument to trade for the best player in the NBA.
Yeah, I could
Do
see
you
that.
think we'd have a shot at the title with LeBron plus Carmelo plus whatever else we have on this team? I think
yeah.
we'd have a good shot at the title, and we'd be in the finals. We'd remember these years. It'd be pretty happy. I'd be pretty happy.
I mean, with LeBron, you have a chance in the East. You have a chance at making the finals.
Yeah,
Probably
Pretty
get
good.
stomped. Probably get swept in the finals, but you probably at least make conference finals.
I'm going to trade Porzingis for that.
Yeah. Okay. So Porzingis is the 4th most untradeable player in the league.
Who else do you have? Anyone else you would trade him for? What about, here's one for you, Steph Curry.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot about him.
Okay. Anyone in Golden State, just anyone on their roster.
Yeah. Barbosa.
Is there anyone else that's worth mentioning?
Steph Curry is just out of control this
obviously.
year.
Yeah, I'm sure we're missing players. So, but what about Damian Lillard?
No.
We'd have the best point guard we've maybe ever had in our history of our team.
Yeah.
The best point guard we've had since 1980.
No. And he's not better than Mark Jackson was.
He looks pretty good.
Yeah, he looks pretty good. He plays no defense.
We didn't think that much of Mark Jackson either. By the way, we didn't keep him around that long. You do remember that?
There's plenty of good players we didn't keep around though.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's move on to the next question. After what Jesse writes, but Adam, that's a great question. Better question than Will Phil, coach the team. Jesse writes, after watching 16 games, what is your new win-loss prediction for the season? Jay, I think you had them winning less games than ESPN. What do you say now?
No, I didn't.
No, I'm just making fun of you. What would you say? I think you had them at like 34, 35 wins.
I think
By the way, do you wish we made that goddamn bet?
I do. Yeah.
Why can't the betting just be legal? Like it would be. I can't like figure out how to make a bet in Vegas.
Also, New York just banned those one-day fantasy leagues, so now my money in there is trapped.
Oh, is it official? You really can't do it now?
I logged on to FanDuel today, and it's you can't bet in New York.
I really hate that. Like I totally understand that. I do think it's just gambling, but I don't understand why gambling is illegal. Gives a shit.
Yeah, it does seem weird that you can't gamble.
You can't gamble, but you can like just put all your money in the stock market and lose it all there.
Yeah,
totally
it's the
legit.
Same thing.
But predict the wins and losses.
I'm not changing my pick. I think I said something like 38.
Okay, so I don't think you said 38, but I will say the Knicks will win 42 games.
All right.
Okay. John writes, assuming Melo retires a Knick, how long till KP is our best player?
Next year.
Really? Do you think next year he's going to surpass Melo?
Yeah, I think he's already outplayed him in a couple games.
Melo's our best defensive player, though.
Melo's our best defensive player.
You saw the stats from last
Did
year.
Robin Lopez die?
I still have trouble believing those stats, but I still think I don't know. Melo's been playing like shit lately, but part of it in his defense is he's still coming back from an injury.
Great. Next year.
Yeah, there's no way he's better. There's no way. I say 3 or 4 years.
Really?
Anton writes, what's going on with Galloway? Completely off. Is it because Grant getting less minutes? His partner in crime.
I think it's just a slump. He was playing way above his head for a while. I think he's just going into a mini slump. I mean, he is playing like crap again today, but I'm not going to get worried unless this continues for another week or so.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes also the He hasn't been getting playing time, so it's not like he hasn't been playing. Like I would make the argument that he wasn't getting enough minutes, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, tonight he's also playing against a very good defensive. Well, the guards are. Ariza is a good defender.
Yeah, well, so is Beverly.
Yeah, Ariza and Beverly are good defenders. So, that could give Galloway
The Knicks better
trouble.
win this game. They're up by 2. This is going to be so goddamn annoying if they blow this game.
Yep.
Okay. Where am I on this? Okay. George writes, it seems we have an issue with our bench. After getting off to a good start, we have hit a bit of a wet patch. What adjustments do we need to make? This is an example of a question that we've kind of already answered, so we're going to move forward. But thank you, George. Grant writes, on Sunday, we are playing the Rockets, a team that just lost its coach, and they have Harden, who doesn't play defense. We should be able to beat these guys, right?
I think that question was written before we knew Melo was out. But we are up by 2 with 5 minutes left, so we still should be able to win.
Yes. Michael writes, back to playing like shit, only topic.
We covered that extensively.
Andrew writes, I feel like Porzingis is the key for this team now. The result of each game really depends on how he plays each game. The trend is if Porzingis plays good, we win, and if he plays bad, we lose. Whereas with Melo, he can have a bad game and we'll still win. Does this mean Porzingis is now more important than Melo?
Yep.
Oh, come on. No, I so here's a question.
He's more important to the future. Melo might be more important for this season.
Can Porzingis have a good game and the Knicks lose?
Yeah.
I guess here's a question. Is it more likely that Melo has a good game and the Knicks lose, or more likely that Porzingis has a good game and the Knicks lose?
Probably Porzingis, because when Melo has a good game, he's taking like 30 shots and getting 30 points.
Yeah, I don't know if I could necessarily call that a good game from Melo, but I think when Porzingis has a good game, it usually means everyone else having a good game also.
Mm-hmm.
And Porzingis just actually had a nice play, had a real nice play at the basket. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a guy that we drafted this past year that actually contributes and is a big factor in us winning games.
Years.
Andrew writes, do you feel there are any trades we can make to get a first-round pick this year? Obviously, Melo and or Porzingis is an easy answer, but any other options in your opinion? And is the right move to trade or keep what we got?
I don't think you get another first-round pick for anybody except maybe Lopez, and I don't think that makes sense.
What if Philly said to you, we will give you every draft pick we can within the NBA rules give you for the next 100 years if you give us Porzingis? So basically, because NBA rules prohibit doing back-to-back years,
It'd be every other year, yeah.
It'd be 50 first-round picks and 100 second-round picks.
I mean, you would have to do that because, like 12 to 20 of those are going to be number 1 picks.
But they will have Porzingis.
They will have Porzingis. Although Porzingis really likes New York, he just doesn't re-sign after his rookie contract and comes right back to New York.
Yeah, that may be.
How funny would that be?
So apparently Jay will either trade Porzingis for Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Steph Curry, or 150 draft picks from Philly. Andrew writes, how many Knicks... So here's a question, Jay. Has there been a guy drafted outside of Patrick Ewing, has there been a Knicks player drafted that you've been in your lifetime that you've been as excited about as Porzingis? And I imagine you don't remember when Ewing was drafted.
No, I definitely don't. When he was drafted, no.
Has there been a player under 25 on the Knicks that you've been as excited about as Porzingis?
I was almost there with David Lee. Then we traded him.
As excited as you were about Porzingis?
No, I guess that's a lie.
Okay. Andrew writes, how many Knicks games do you guys go to each season on average?
I was going to 5 a year, and now the cheapest tickets are $70, so I go to an average of 0 now.
Yeah, I used to go to more, but now I don't go to as many because the it's just so goddamn expensive.
The cheapest tickets are literally $68 now.
Yeah, maybe if we knew anything about marketing and our show could be successful, we'd have money to go to these games. Jay, we should go to a game though sometime soon.
We should. I think some of the guys from the Knicks meetup wanted to go with us too.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Maybe we can figure out a game sometime soon, and we can see who else wants to get in on it, and then have them all stiff you. Andrew writes, thoughts looking back on the 2009-2010 Knicks team with David Lee, Al Harrington, Wilson Chandler, Gallinari, Duhon, who weirdly was my favorite Knicks player of all time.
At the time.
Oh, at the time. Okay. That sounded kind of weird, all time.
Yeah.
By the way, Knicks are up by 4. This is getting kind of scary.
I was really excited about that team.
Were you?
Yeah.
Can you still believe Duhon holds the record for, like, he had 20 assists in a game? Or 22, whatever the record is?
Yeah, it was pretty disgusting.
Um,
Somebody else has got to beat that.
Yeah. So by the way, Porzingis right now has 12 rebounds, 18 points. Pretty good game. Knicks should win this.
He's outplaying Dwight Howard.
Yes. Is Howard playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't tell because he's playing like crap, but he's playing. So yeah, Duhon 22 assists.
That team, you never thought they were going to be all that great though, but
no, but it was a fun style of play, and they were like a 500 team, and then we blew it up to have a 500 team.
Yeah, the team didn't get much better. Gallo, so you said he's healthy, right? We were talking about this during the week. You sent me an email saying Gallo's actually had a pretty good game this past week.
Yeah, he's been having a good season actually.
What would you trade to get Gallo back? Well, here's my first question, but I think the answer is going to be Gallo. If you could pick one ex-Knick that's currently in the NBA to come back on the team right now, who would you? And it also has to be like the guy that fits best with the team also.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it would probably be Gallo because Lee looks terrible this year.
And also wouldn't help us. We'd have another big guy.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, I don't think Lynn would be much better than what we've had.
I think Lynn would be a decent piece on the bench. I totally
Yeah.
think he'd be we need some scoring punch off the bench, so it makes some sense. Gallo has the most potential. The Gallo would be a solid option off the bench.
He would instantly be our best bench player.
Yeah, he'd be a solid we stick with the small forward.
Yeah, he would
Yeah.
be exactly what we want Stupid Hair McGee to be.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nice. What do you think? Well, there's nothing we can do to trade for him, basically. Would you trade Carmelo to get Gallinari back?
That's like Gallinari's only like 27, right?
And injured for 26 of those years.
I know.
I just don't think he's ever going to have a real career because he'll never get past the injuries.
Yeah.
I just think some guys you can't, like when they're injured when they're young. Like Embiid he was injured in college. He had major injury in college. You can't just like draft him. Or did he have a major injury? He was injured part of college, right? Or am I being crazy? Or am I crazy?
I think you're being crazy.
Oh, I know he was injured before the draft. That's what
Right.
it was, right?
I think right before like Summer League or something. I think Truck Robinson like destroyed his back on like a stupid pick or something.
But no, but he had a foot injury also.
Oh.
All right, whatever. All
right,
whatever.
let's move on.
Okay, move on. Andrew writes, where do you think that the team was heading if we'd never traded for Melo? To mediocrity?
Yeah, I mean, we probably would have been the Hawks, second round out.
Really? I don't think this team was even a second round team.
I think they were building to that. I mean, think of it; they were all really young too.
Yeah, I guess you have to think they would draft some other players, but Gallo would always suffer injuries. Chandler, Harrington was kind of already getting near the end for him.
Yeah,
David Lee was pretty good. Duhan's a terrible point guard. Duhan's not terrible. He's not an NBA starting point guard.
right.
So I don't think this team was ever heading any. It wasn't blowing this up to get Amari. In theory, blowing this up to get some players wasn't a terrible idea. It was blowing this team up a couple of years before that was a terrible idea. Because when we had Zach Randolph and Crawford. We actually had a good team developing.
Right.
I don't know. Whatever. Douglas writes, do we lose every Friday night game? When I hear the "You Gotta Get There" song on MSG, I just start to worry.
Yes, it's the curse of the Robert Randolph and the Family Band.
Yeah. Greg writes, Porzingis for Kawhi Leonard. Would you use it? That's where I got that question.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a big coincidence.
No. I saw this. I looked at the questions at some point. Ralph writes, when will they let Robin finish a game? When will Robin let Robin finish a game? You have to play within Robin.
I think when Robin can show he could play both ends of the court.
Yeah. It is interesting, though. He's getting $12.5 million a year and can't finish a game.
He only played 15 minutes today.
It's weird.
And there's 1 minute left in the game.
Maybe the Knicks should trade him. Greg writes, you guys think Corpese would be better than Dirk after his career is over?
I'm not going that far yet. Dirk is like one of the best power forwards.
Just to, before you even answer that question, do you like Greg's Corpese nickname?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's really hard to project for his career. And if he ended up being as good as Dirk, that'd be pretty goddamn amazing.
Yeah.
Greg writes, Corpese for K-Love and Deladova. Would you go for it?
Nope.
That sounds like a terrible trade, Greg.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Greg, is Chris Mullin the greatest white left-handed player of all time?
I don't know who's left-handed. Sure.
Greg also writes, is Larry Bird the greatest player to be in Aquarius? No, I meant that part of it. Okay. Greg writes, how ridiculous is the Golden State Warriors? Should we hand them the championship trophy already?
I don't know. Barnes just went down for a couple weeks, so things are about to get interesting. Although 18-0 is ridiculous.
Yeah, I was going to say 18-0 is pretty ridiculous. At what point do you start saying, will they be good as the Bulls team? What point is it too? Right now, I think it's too early. But how far into it is like a legitimate? Like, let's start discussing.
Give it another 12 games. If they're like 28-2 or something, I think then you gotta start looking at it.
Yeah. What's going to happen first? By the way, I know we asked last show, but are the Golden State going to win? Going to lose a game, or are the Philly going to win a game?
Oh, I don't know. Philly's been kind of competitive the last couple games.
And they have a pretty easy game coming up against the Knicks. 0-18. Holy crap. Only, Philly makes it so that the Nets can say, well, we're 4 games up on one team.
Do I say Philly just because they're playing the Knicks on Tuesday?
If you say Philly, you hate yourself. Knicks are up by 3 points. Sorry.
Tied.
This is a delay on the app, I guess. Fuck. Greg writes, did you guys bump shoulders with D Rose? Would have probably injured if you literally did any interview with him. Greg likes D Rose, you think?
D Rose was booked this week, but we'll have him back next week.
Greg writes, is Corbisi a young Rasheed Wallace? If Corbisi had the career of Rasheed Wallace, would you be happy, Jay?
I don't know, because Rasheed Wallace was a guy who I always thought should have had a better career.
He still had a pretty good career.
He had a pretty good career. He did win a championship.
Did he win 2 championships? Or no, 1, right?
He won one.
He was on the second Pistons team, not the first.
Right.
Am I wrong on that?
No, he was on a team that made 4 straight conference finals and 1 championship.
Yeah. Did he also did pretty well with the Trailblazers, right? Or or the Jailblazers?
Yeah.
I think it would be a solid career.
Yeah, it's a solid career.
You can't be unhappy with that. Right now, Derrick Fisher is drawing up a play. Everyone's gathered around, and he keeps saying, so we give the ball to Melo. Coach, Melo's not playing tonight.
He's just in the fetal position right now.
He's like, okay, give the ball to Melo. Coach, again, he's not freaking playing tonight. Okay, I used to Melo. He was drawing a bunch of things on a clipboard. I can't imagine they meant anything. Do we think? Can we do a little rabble and call it? We can call this last play, Jay. Since you're not watching this, can we call it with me?
Sure.
Here it goes. Do you already know what happens? Because I think it might be delayed.
No, I'm on 30-second refresh on ESPN's box score.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Okay. This is 32.2 seconds to go.
I'm going to
the
say
Knicks-
high screen for Porzingis 3-pointer.
Okay. Okay. Knicks inbound the ball. Okay. It goes to Galloway, who you want holding hand the ball late in games. We're nothing against him, I guess. Okay. Now Lance Thomas has it out by 3-point line. You might want to get this. Lance Thomas takes the shot and misses the shot.
That's not really a good thing.
They drew up a play where Lance Thomas takes the 3-point shot.
That's very questionable.
Kind of. So James Harden right now has the ball. He 7-6-5. He is about to. Oh God!
Did he just
And
score?
he hits the shot. No, he missed the shot. We're
Okay.
going to overtime.
All right. Let's get through these questions before overtime starts.
Okay. What the hell does Derrick Fisher do? He was sitting there with the guys drawing up a play, and his play was Galloway. You dribble 50 feet from the basket. Then you pass to Lance Thomas 40 feet from the basket. Lance, you get somewhere near the 3-point line, just jack up a shot. Guys, who's going to guard this? It's unguardable because you have to be crazy to try to guard it. Greg writes, why are you guys aren't doing any prank calls anymore? Can you try calling MSG or any establishment that's selling NBA tickets and ask if they believe in Corpese?
We already did a call today.
Okay. We'll do another show. We'll ask people if they believe in Corpese. Greg writes, you guys think this guy in the video now regrets that he said during this year's NBA draft? This is the Danny Aiello thing going crazy about Kristaps and whatever. I'm kind of tired of people getting mad at people for getting overreacting about the Porzingis draft pick. Are you still, Jay, it's been a week. Are you still bitter about this?
No, that video always made me laugh anyway. That was Danny Aiello.
Yeah.
Huh.
Greg writes, you guys think the lady on this video wants the Kristaps? I'm not going to play the video. It's some woman wanting the Kristaps.
Everyone wants the Kristaps.
Yeah, and Greg writes, reactions, this is Michael Rappaport, Porzingis needs to hit puberty, something or other. Greg writes, sarcastic question of the day. Oh, this is the Phil Jackson one. Ralph writes, I think that Rolo and KP need to play together as that is a strength. Defending the post, Grant penetrating, and Melo bullying are also strengths. We need to make other teams have to match up against us, not the other way around.
Yeah.
I mean, we do that in the beginning of games.
And
it
that's
does seem
usually
like
when we let up a big. That's usually when we get into a big deficit.
No, it does. I mean, the beginning of the games, we usually play a pretty strong first quarter.
Yeah, I don't know. It fluctuates.
I would do a little mixing up of have some small ball and some. That's a good lineup too. I don't think. Good point, Ralph. Jay, do you want to insult Ralph and have to apologize to him on this show?
Nope.
Okay. Shay gets writes. Can you guys analyze Rolo a bit? I hear a lot of talk about how he's been garbage this year, but I see him doing dirty work that lets others succeed. I think he is most severely hurt by our terrible guard play, and his post presence may be part of the reason for KP's great rebounding.
Yeah, well, I've been saying for a while he's one of those guys that does stuff that doesn't show up as often in the box score.
Yeah, I agree with that. He sets screens. He helps out in I think he's a good player, and the defense is definitely better. The stats bear out the fact that the defense is better with him on the floor.
Yeah. That being said, he needs to get into the offense a little more.
It's his offense is really killing us.
Yeah.
He's not. I feel like maybe he should try. He doesn't. When I do see him shoot mid-range jumpers, he can hit them.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice if he tries them a little more. He might get the defense to step out on him a little bit.
Right.
Mostly the one thing I was expecting, and I haven't really seen much of it, is I wouldn't mind seeing some pick and roll with him and getting him to the basket and kind of like some alley-oops to him, basically. I don't see why he couldn't do that.
The problem is I think Calderon tries to force that.
I don't think Calderon's very good. I mean, he's not bad. He's not a great point guard.
Yeah.
We need better guard play. Gillum writes, answer without thinking. Durant and Ibaka for Melo and Porzingis, yes or no?
Yes.
I say no, only because I just don't think Durant's going to be healthy.
Okay.
But not a bad play. And Shigets writes, no, Porzingis is young and untouchable. Shigets, let me just think about this, Shigets. Would you trade Porzingis for 150 draft picks? Jeremy writes, who can we add to our bench to possibly help it as not much suck as much as it does now?
I don't think there's anybody going to get in a trade. Travis Trice.
Yeah, I think you might be right about Travis Wright. Chris Porzingis writes, how much do you think Phil has impacted on Porzingis' development as a player so far?
Not much.
I mean, he's not. Yeah, I can't see how much Phil could really be doing. Do you think, does Phil, what do you think he does during the regular season?
I think he watches a lot of games.
I mean, is there a role? Like, is he like, outside of trying to analyze maybe potential trade?
Yeah, he's definitely looking at potential moves.
Do you think he has any calls to? I guess the question really is: do you think he makes calls to Derrick Fisher and is a little more involved in like here's things you should do and should not do? Didn't Fisher make the comment, "Hey Phil, I'd like you to be a little more involved this year"?
Did he? I missed that.
Yeah, didn't he make some comment about how he wanted him? Like Phil said, he tried to be a little more hands off, and
Fisher's like, no, I don't know what I'm doing, so be more hands on.
And then he said, and I think Derek Fisher said, aren't you getting $12 million not to participate? By the way, the Houston's up by 5.
Awesome.
God damn it. Okay. I don't know. I wonder if how much Phil does. Chris writes, we got to get back for that. Hurrah. We got back for that. Hurrah. I hope we keep him now. I'd much rather have Travis Trice.
Yeah.
Chris writes, what did you think when Wade, Bosch, and Melo were spending time together on Thanksgiving?
Threw up a little in my mouth.
Maybe Miami will trade for Melo. What can we get from Miami? What do you do? Would you do first round draft pick, Justice Winslow, and Dang?
Yeah.
That would be a bad trade at all.
Yeah.
I think I figured it out, guys. Call Miami. This is it. Chris Porzingis writes, thoughts on Okafor and the recent L's he's been receiving? Like when he fought some Boston thugs outside a club and when he had guns pointed at him. You think he purposely wants out of Philly by getting involved with these issues? Yes.
I think he's just young and he's a knucklehead.
Or he's a genius. What else? What did we learn today, Jay?
Oh, that was it?
That was it, Jay. We didn't have that many. No. We didn't have an absurdly long show today.
All right. Well, we did, but it's okay.
What are you doing, Jay?
Somebody sent a video. Oh, I love that video. It's a lady at a basketball game just looking into her cell phone and just gets nailed in the face with a basketball.
That's always funny.
Yes.
Was she like first row?
No, it was like fifth row. But it's always funny when people like pay absurd amounts of money to a game that I would kill to go to and then just spend it all on their phone.
Happens. But you know what? The thing is, you'd have like a once in a lifetime thing to sit right there, and then you'd be checking your like someone would text you, you'd be looking at it, and you get hit in the face. You'd be like, "No, I was looking at a text about the game." Oh. That's what Justin Bieber was probably saying, like when you show a picture of him looking at his phone. Okay. Anything else we learned today?
No.
We learned that Okafor is going to have to try to break some more laws before the NBA is going to have to start paying attention.
We learned that Embiid's a once-in-a-generation player.
We learned that Jay would probably not trade Porzingis for Jay, here's a question.
Yeah.
Would you trade like your future offspring for Porzingis? I don't know how that actually would even work.
Yeah, that would be weird contractually.
Would you trade here we go. Would you rather, Jay, the Knicks Knicks keep Porzingis or they trade him and you get a 30% pay bump at work?
Oh, that's tough. That is tough. 30. I'm crunching the numbers. 30% pay bump.
You don't have to tell anyone what that means, but 30% is still for anyone. 30% bump is a nice bump in salary.
It is. I would probably. Yeah, I would probably take 30% pay bump.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. I'm being selfish.
Porzingis or an extra week of paid vacation? Like one extra week where the boss says, get the hell out of here, take vacation, and we'll pay for it. An extra full week.
Every year or just 1 year?
Every year.
Oh. Every year I would take. 1 year I would probably take one for the team.
Okay. Porzingis or you get coffee free once at work. Let me see if I can think of another good one for you. Okay. By the way, Dwight Howard, the Knicks are up by one, but down by 1 point, and Dwight Howard is shooting free throws.
Okay, can we end this so we can watch the end of the game?
Okay. We're out of here.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. The New York Knicks podcast.com. You can check out our weekly player power rankings. You could buy shirts there, too.
Like us on Facebook, and try to get 1 billion of your friends to like us as well.
Yes.
Buy a T-shirt because Jay still has them.
I do, and I don't want that many.
Explain to us how you possibly draw up a play, game's tied, how you possibly draw up a end of a last-second shot play where you have Lance Thomas shooting a 3.
Ugh. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Everybody.
Hi, this is moreLearn Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Yes, while Geico could help you rack up more moolah faster than you can say metamorphosis, they've also been the fastest growing auto insurer for more than 10 years. That's more like it. Furthermore, Geico has fast and friendly claim service. That might seem like an oxymoron, but it's not. All the more reason to say no other auto insurer has more than Geico. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.